Show me one toddler that doesn't like learning. They all desperately want to walk. You show them something with blocks that they can't do. They want to be able to do it. It's a natural, innate human thing to really want to learn. Humans naturally love learning. Hi, Richard here. Richard from Learn, Implement, Share. In today's little video, I want to talk about student agency. Now, it's interesting when you research student agency. I find it curious because the way I see student agency is students taking responsibility over their learning. But when you look at the research, and man, it can get academic, the inference is they often talk about, student agency is the pedagogy. It's about having a student-centered approach. It's about things that allow students to take responsibility, or that allows them to be much more successful in completing the work. But when I'm talking about student agency, I'm really talking about having students take responsibility for their learning, and because they're doing that, then they're getting a lot more out of the unit of work. They're actually learning because they want to learn it. They want to be in the room, they're interested. So that's my perspective of student agency. And here's the thing. I personally think that striving for students to take responsibility over their learning should be our number one aim. It's important that we have students enjoying the learning process. Now, you might have kids in your class that seem so far removed from that ideal. And don't you think that's tragic? Because show me a toddler, show me one toddler that doesn't like learning. They all desperately want to walk. You show them something with blocks that they can't do. They want to be able to do it. It's a natural, innate human thing to have responsibility over their learning, to really want to learn. Humans naturally love learning. And unfortunately, school has backfired for so many kids because they're now currently in a situation where they hate learning school stuff. But you watch them on a skateboard or watch them in their own life, and maybe they're doing stuff they shouldn't be doing, but there's no problem with their learning process. They're just not learning the stuff that we want them to learn. So my point is, we should be aiming to have students love learning and diving in at their own level, etc., etc. So student agency, or taking responsibility over learning, is really, really important. And this is the message I want to get across. And please, if you disagree with this, let me know. I'm saying that if I'm the teacher and I am a traditional teacher-centric teacher where I dictate who learns what, when, why and how, it all comes from me, then my students cannot take true ownership over their learning. Yes, I might have enthusiastic kids who have learned the game. They get brownie points by getting good results. They've got a good memory, so in whatever subject that I'm teaching, they can do well because they can remember well, so they do well in tests, and they get praised at home, and they get praised by the school, and they get praised by the teacher. They've learnt the game. That's not what I'm calling taking responsibility for their learning. I'm talking about a student who, sure, they might want to perform well, but they love learning. They love collaborating with their peers. They like diving in and exploring, like they're in the subject rather than being observing whatever the teacher's writing on the board and copying and then answering the question in the way they've been taught. That's sort of like that's not being in there, if you know what I mean. So student agency is really important. I think we ought to be really aiming for it, but we won't get there through a full teacher-centric model. And I'm not going to go into it in this video, but a pushback from that comment will be, oh yeah, well, I've tried student-centered approaches and they just take so much more time. Well, there is a way of tackling work in a student-centered manner which actually is more efficient than the teacher-centric model. I've done it. I've got courses that explain that. So, if you want to check it out, there's information on that. But I understand that a lot of people think that a student-centered model is more time-intensive. It doesn't have to be. Have a highly structured, student-centered approach, which allows me to have a lot of input into it, and yet it allows the students to have student agency over what they're doing. So that's the end of this video. I hope that made sense. If you've got questions, put them through. Let me know what you think. And I'll see you on the next video. Cheers and thanks for watching.